Okay, honestly, I don't know how do I start this. I'm very awkward around cameras and I've never attempted anything like this ever before. So this is the epitome of awkwardness for me. Why don't I start with giving my intro? That should be easy, right? So, hi, I'm Almas and this is my YouTube channel where I'm going to be discussing about books I have read, I want to read, and much more. Since this is my first video, I thought it would be appropriate to start off this channel by answering some questions, not necessarily your questions, but some book questions, just so you get a better idea of who I am and what I like, I don't like, and why I'm here. So let's start. So the first question on the list is, why did you start the channel? And the answer is very simple. I read a lot and I have no one to discuss it with. I've been a part of YouTube book community for more than 3 years now, and I've seen people discuss books in a way that nobody around me does. So I wanted to have that sense of community, and also I'm very bored, So yeah, there you go. So the next question is, what are some fun, unique things you can bring to Booktube? Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in my first question, that I have been a part of this community. I have been following people for more than 3 years now, and I'm beginning to see a trend. People are reading tons of books each month, and that can be very discouraging for some people who read for the sole purpose of their enjoyment. And don't get me wrong, I mean, people who read 17, 18, 20 books per month, it's their job, so they have to do it, right? With this channel, I'm trying to promote reading as a hobby rather than a goal or achieving some kind of number by the end of the year. I have always believed that reading is something you do either to escape or to learn something or to explore new stories and cultures, religions, stuff like that. So I don't think the added pressure of reading more books should be put on people. I am a mood reader. I can relate to people who can't read more than 4 books, 5 books, 6 books per month. On this channel, my sole motive is to just read, enjoy, discuss, and just have fun with books rather than seeing it as a huge goal that I have to achieve by the end of the year. I'm just going to be reading for fun, for enjoyment, for escapism. So the third question on the list is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? Okay, it correlates to the first question. The answer is, I want a sense of community, and I'm really excited about that. I'll finally have people who can blabber and listen about books for hours on end. I've been craving that because I don't really have people around me who are into reading like I am. That's something I'm really excited about. That's actually the main motivator as to why I started this channel, and also I love reading, so yeah. And on that note, our fourth question is, why do you love reading? Okay, so this is a funny story. I wasn't much of a reader up until I was 13 years old, maybe. It was my father who introduced me to reading. He's a reader himself. He wanted me to use my time more productively and efficiently, so he ordered a bunch of books for me that he thought I'd enjoy. I wasn't planning on reading them, but out of just sheer curiosity, I picked up one book, and I didn't stop reading until I finished that book. It took me about a week to finish it, I'd read it anytime I'd be free or I wasn't doing something else, and that was the trigger that started it all. And by the time I discovered more authors, more books, more genres, my love of reading grew so much because I have okay, so I don't have many friends. I wasn't very social when I was in middle school, primary school, high school. Books were my happy place. They offered me comfort. I knew that if I reread the book, they won't change, and I'd get the exact same ending, the exact same middle, the exact same start, and they were reliable. So as I explored more books, love for reading grew tenfold. So yeah, that's why I love reading books, because I guess I didn't have enough friends in school. So next question is, what book or series got you into reading? A lot of people, especially Indian people, are gonna cringe listening to my answer, but I'll just spit it out. It was The Three Mistakes of My Life by Chetan Bhagat. Yeah, I know. The books have gotten anyways. Next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Just one question. How do you guys read so much and not get a headache? Me, on the other hand, if I read for more than 1 hour, I'll get a headache and I'll have to put my book down and I'll have to see some sunlight, check my phone, get a coffee. But I don't know how people who read non-stop without looking up from their books and read them in one sitting. I don't know how you guys do it. Please, if you have some tips, please share them with us. Thank you. Moving on to our next question. It's, when did you start reading? So as I mentioned earlier, I was around 13 years old when I first got into reading. That would be 7th grade. Yeah, that's it. So next question is, where do you read? I usually prefer my bed. That's the most convenient spot for me. The second most convenient spot in my home is my sofa, because it gets direct sunlight during the day. I really enjoy that. Apart from these two places, I also like to read in greenery, in some park or an open space where there are lots of plants or trees. Anything that's green, really, and a little bit of sunlight never hurts anybody. So this next question is good. It's what kind of books do you read? I read a lot of different genres. I'm not particularly fixated on one genre, but if you ask what's my most favorite genre, it's literary fiction. I think literary fiction books hit harder than any genre I've ever read. And apart from that, I have read a lot of romance books. And in my earlier years of reading, I delved into a lot of non-fiction, memoirs, business books. For some reason, I don't know, but I liked those back in the day. My least read genre would be fantasy, horror. I enjoy thrillers, but I haven't read a lot of them, so I can't give my opinions on them just yet, but I will when I read more. So yeah, that's it. So the final question is, what does your book collection looks like? I'm looking at them right now. So I have an abundance of classics. I need to get those. I have an abundance of romance novels. I have a lot of literary fiction books. I have a lot of young adult books. 2 stacks of non-fiction and memoirs. Very few thriller books. If you have any good recommendations for thrillers, drop them down in the comment section. I'd love to check those out. Yeah, and I have Harry Potter. I have the Hunger Game trilogy, which I haven't read yet, but I want to read. Dystopian novel is another genre that I want to delve into this year. So I'll start out with the Hunger Games. Yeah, that's about it. Those were all the questions for Booktube Newbie Tag. I hope you got a little bit of idea of who I am and what I like and what are my plans going forward with this channel. The worst part of this channel is going to be listening to my own voice while editing. I know it's gonna be torture for me, but I hope it's not for you. I really hope so. I don't like my voice at all. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. First question on the list is, why did you start this channel? So, I'm not sure. Alexa, stop.